Hello again, and welcome to our series, Our Great Awakening. Today, we'll be talking about the Hermetic Principles and the work of Hermes Trismegistus, also known as the Egyptian god Thoth. And in his work, The Kabbalion, he explains a lot of the philosophy for life, a lot of the structure for life, and gives certain rules to follow through on that.
Yes, and these rules, like a lot of other ancient wisdom and ancient writings, were handed down by word of mouth for quite a while in order to protect them from falling into the wrong hands. But as has always happened, they have fallen into the wrong hands. And these wise teachings have been thwarted and distorted and manipulated for certain sinister reasons. So, let's start with what these Hermetic Principles are. There is, as we've spoken about before, the great universal cosmic intelligence we call God, the great one universal mind, the great one universal consciousness, the great one universal awareness, the great one universal mind we call God. And within that great one universal mind, there are cosmic laws, cosmic truths that underpin all of creation. They bring order and structure and stability and harmony to all of creation. Now, let me ask you one question. Do you think that we have freedom in this country in which we live? Do you think you ever had freedom? And how would you define freedom? When we think about freedom, we usually think about people who live in Nazi Germany or in communist Russia or communist China. And we say, no, they don't have freedom. But we do, we have freedom. That's what we always say, that's what we think. Well, really? Do we really have freedom? When we are led by the nose by governments, by religions, and by society, how can that be freedom? And by an education system which brainwashes us. So we're free, really? We're slaves to work, just to pay our bills, to pay our mortgages, to pay our taxes. We're told what to think, what to wear even. Fashion dictates to us. So we're free, really? And now we're told what we're allowed to know and what we're not allowed to know. So are we really free? Certainly, we are not living in freedom at this present point in time, in this present situation in which we find ourselves. But cast your minds back to before last March. Were we even then living in freedom? I don't think so. The truth is that freedom will never come from man-made laws, because man-made laws are, by their very nature, controlling. The only way you will ever get freedom is from understanding the spiritual laws, the Hermetic principles that underpin all of creation, the great spiritual laws of the universe. They're nothing new. They're just ancient wisdom, which has been kept from us for particular reasons. So what is freedom? How do we define freedom? Freedom is singing your own soul song, not singing someone else's song. Freedom is your soul flying freely to sound its own note, not someone else's note. And you will only get freedom in the spiritual laws, not in man-made laws. And these Hermetic principles are your passport to freedom. They are your manual for an abundant, fulfilling life. And they give you freedom from all man-made distortions, artificial creeds and doctrines. And they enable you to take control. If you live by these laws, you are in control and you are free. Now, unlike man-made laws, there is punishment if you disobey them. There is no punishment if you don't adhere to these spiritual laws. The only effect on you will be you will not find fulfilment and happiness and freedom. They throw us not just a life belt, but a life raft. And what's the difference? If you're thrown a life belt, you're still in the water. But with a life raft, you're out of the water. And these spiritual laws throw us a life raft. The truth. Many don't even know these laws exist. And why not? We haven't been taught them in school. Why not? Because they are spiritual laws. And because if we knew them, we might just find out some things that we're not supposed to know. Okay, and as Hitler himself said, the truth is the greatest enemy of the state. Hitler's words. And the truth lies in these 7 Hermetic Principles. Now let me draw an analogy here. The lion in the cage, whether it's in the zoo, in the circus, in a safari park, is caged. It is fed, it is looked after, it's fed raw meat several times a day. And you might say, well, what's its problem? It gets everything it needs. But the big thing is, its own natural instincts are being deprived. That lion should be out hunting in the wilds of Africa, getting its own meat. That lion is not singing its own song. That lion is dancing to someone else's tune. Just as we are in our present condition. So, what are these 7 Hermetic Principles? I'm going to go through them very quickly here. The first one is the law of mentalism, which basically means everything starts in the one great mind that we call God. Everything starts there. Everything emanates from that one great consciousness level. Everything has its origin in the mental realm. Everything. The one single universal consciousness, the one single universal mind, from which all things manifest. All energy and matter, no matter what level, is all subject and subordinate to that one great universal mind. The universe is mental. Everything starts in the mind. Well, first of all, how do we apply that law of mentalism in our everyday lives? We apply it because we understand that everything starts with a thought, and our thoughts create our reality. Second law, the law of correspondence. Everything comes from that infinite one mind, and it comes down through all the various levels of energy, right down to our level of energy here on planet Earth. All the great composers, the great inventors, where does their inspiration come from? Inspired. It filters down from the great one universal mind down through all the levels until it reaches those of us here on planet Earth who are open to receive. There's the key. Who are open to receive. We are energy. We are always transmitting. We're taking energy in and we're transmitting it outwards in a multidimensional. And how do we apply this in everyday life? You change yourself to be able to be open to whatever it is being filtered down, is being drip fed down to us in this lower energy level. Change yourself. Michael Jackson's song, The Man in the Mirror. It's got to start with you, the man in the mirror. Here are the words of that song. I'm starting with the man in the mirror. I'm asking him to change his ways. And no messages could have been any clearer. If you want to make the world a better place, take a look at yourself and then make a change. How do we apply that law of correspondence in our everyday lives? Well, we ask ourselves, how limiting are our thoughts? And we have responsibility to change those thoughts, to manifest what we want, to take back control. That's how we manifest them. Third law is the law of vibration. And here we are again, as we've spoken many times, energy, vibration and frequency. The whole universe is but a vibration. And there's constant movement and motion between all the different vibrations. The only difference between us all is the rate or the level at which our energy is vibrating. And when you understand this, you understand power. How do you apply this? You keep your vibration high. Fourth Hermetic principle is the law of duality or polarity. We think of everything as having opposites, but really they're not. They're just simply a matter of degree of the same thing. For example, hot and cold. We look at those as opposites, but they're just really a different degree of the same thing. In this case, temperature. The photograph of you as a young child, Declan, and the photograph of you now today, it's both the same and it's different. It's the same person, but it's different. The fence, you paint the fence. It's both the same and it's different. It's the same fence, but it's now different. And there is no such thing as an absolute of anything. And life and death, they are not two separate states. They are both part of the same journey of the evolution of a human. And how do you apply this duality and polarity? You go with the flow. Fifth law is the law of rhythm. Everything flows. The tide flows in, the tide flows out. The seasons come, the seasons go. The great flow of universal energy. The pendulum. Rhythm. The rhythm of life is a powerful beat. You know the song. You can feel it in your fingers, you can feel it in your feet. Most of us, we're not in rhythm. We're living out of balance, emotionally and mentally. How do we apply this in our everyday life? For every high, there is a low. There's a measured, a controlled motion in absolutely everything. There are good times and there are bad times. We survive the bad times by knowing they will not last, and we appreciate and enjoy the good times when we have them because we know that they too will not last. Number 6 is cause and effect. Every cause has an effect. Every effect has a cause. There's no such thing as chance or luck or coincidence. Everything is synchronicity. And synchronicity is defined by when all the elements necessary come together to manifest something or some event. And it's not what happened to you in life that's important. It's how you deal with that. And the consequences, the effects of our actions and thoughts bring about the next cause and the next effect. And how do you apply this? Change your vibration. And if you change the vibration of yourself, you change the cause and you change the effect. We are in control. And the 7th, the final principle, is the principle of gender. Masculine and feminine. Gender is always at work. The combination of masculine and feminine is always at work in creation, in regeneration, in production, and in manifesting. Every male thing has a female element, and every female thing has a male element. And how do we apply that? Balance. Our masculine energy balanced with our feminine energy, the yin and the yang. The two complement, make up the whole. We're not in competition. The male and the female are not in competition. The two together make up the whole. Now, those are the 7 Hermetic principles. There's no new knowledge there. It's just ancient wisdom, which has been denied us and has been kept from us. And you can see they're all interconnected. You can't see where one ends and the next one begins. They all weave in and out through each other. And if you want to sum them up, here we go. Energy, vibration and frequency. The masculine and feminine energy is balanced. Ups and downs in life, go with the flow. The oneness, the great universal mind. Correspondence and communication. Being open to receive as everything is filtered and drip fed down to us. And your thoughts, what's in your mind, create your reality. Take control. And for a happy, fulfilled life, you need to be singing your own song. And not just singing your own song, but creating, composing your own song. You are in control. You have the power. Be the master, not the victim. Let your soul fly freely. Let your soul sing its own song. Let your soul sing its own note to contribute to the one great universal orchestra, the one great harmony. And it's only through understanding the spiritual laws of the universe that you can achieve that freedom. Human laws will never bring you freedom because by their very nature they are controlling. You are in control. You are free when you understand and live by these 7 Hermetic Principles.
Thank you, Aileen. A wonderful message. And next week, we'll be looking at the 3-plumed flame. So we hope you can join us then. But for now, namaste.
Namaste, and thank you for watching.